Alright y'all, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Batman Year 1 comic. I'm just starting to read comic books in general. I started the Spider-Man one a little bit ago, and this is my first Batman comic I'm reading. There's a reading order I found. The guy's TikTok will be on screen, at least the video to it will be in. I'll leave a link to that in the description for the order I'm going to read these comics in. But let me know anything y'all want me to read comic book wise, or even like a manga or something. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter. Either way, let's just get into the actual review. Alright, so the comic, it's essentially Jim Gordon's comic. I mean, it's Batman too, obviously, but like, I feel like this mainly follows through like the eyes of Jim Gordon, or around Jim Gordon. Maybe not the eyes of Jim Gordon himself, but the conflicts. It's Jim Gordon driven. You feel me? It's just, I butchered. It's Jim Gordon driven though. This book is essentially driven through him. Yeah, I think it was a great idea though. I mean, I know it's not the first Batman comic ever, obviously, and but I think it's a great idea for like a beginner like me or whatever to read this first and shit too, because like we know a lot of Batman's rogues gallery, even if we not like super familiar with all the characters. I think them using Jim Gordon to drive this story, it shows you what Bruce is coming back to, and especially from like a political standpoint. Obviously, we're not seeing his rogues gallery and shit in year one. We haven't seen none of that, but it shows like the commissioner. He's corrupt. One of Jim Gordon's police partners, he was corrupt. Flash, he was a racist. He just attacked this one kid for doing nothing. Essentially, I don't remember. I just know he fucking like beat him up. I'm pretty sure threw him in the trash can, from what I'm remembering correctly. Cause I read that. I read the first issue like a while ago, and then I binged the rest. But either way, yeah, Flash, corrupt bullshit cop. And then the commissioner, we see he's corrupt. He wants Jim Gordon to get a title lesson because Jim Gordon himself is not corrupt. So through the story of Jim Gordon, we see the corruption of just the police department in general. I think I forgot to say this, but Gordon being Flash's ass is obviously you know what I'm saying, it's peak. Yeah. Yeah, well deserved. Well deserved. After he got his ass beat, obviously himself, he got jumped earlier. But yeah, Gordon got his get back, and you know Flash deserves it, so makes it all the more better. You know, with Gordon get his get back, and you know Flash obviously being this racist, dirty cop. So yeah, again. So it kind of shows you what Bruce is. Yeah, it shows you what Bruce is coming back to from that standpoint. Like just how truly like fucked up Gotham is. Again, even outside of the Rogues Gallery, like you know how a lot of people say this, and I'm just gonna be restating this, but you can't just solve all of Gotham's problems by beating up the rogues guy, like his rogues and shit, because of shit like this. So, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So yeah, that's it just shows you some of the street level problems that he's coming back to them. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, Jim had like this little love plot line or whatever. He cheated, and when he cheated, he ended up because the commissioner tried to use the fact that he cheated as dirt on him, because Jim Gordon had solved like a police case or like a hostage situation. He was the one to solve it. He ended up punching the guy and shit towards the end. But either way, everyone loves Jim Gordon, like city-wise. But again, the crap commissioner wanted to use him like kissing this other girl against him. It would have ruined his image, and his wife would have found out that way. He ends up telling his wife anyway, and when he tells his wife, they kind of cut away. So I was like, "What? We just gonna fucking ignore that?" But towards the end of the comic, he says they're going to marriage counseling or whatever. So I guess that's that. I thought there'd be a little more to that, but there wasn't. So, but yeah, that was just a, I don't know, weird cutoff at the. I thought we'd get back to it, but nah. But yeah, Bruce Wayne was a suspect for Batman for Jim Gordon, but he did it. They ended up just fleeing. So Batman in this comic, he did a lot of shit as Bruce Wayne. Catwoman was seeing him fight, I think, as Bruce Wayne, if I remember correctly. But outside of that, the next place is he goes to like a building to stop people from stealing, and the building catches fire. Was that this one? I don't think that was that one. No, there's still shit. But he does go to a building that they end up like blowing up and shit. I think it was more of a trap. It wasn't. Yeah, no. Okay, I'm mixing shit up. My bad. We see Batman struggle early on, where in a situation he probably won't struggle with in the like later on. Obviously, he was just stopping like these 3 like teenagers or some shit from or what they could have been adults. I don't know. I don't quite remember. Either way, there's 3 people stealing shit. He drops down. He starts fighting them. He accidentally knocks one off. He grabs him. It says he grabs him. He can't quite fully bring him up. And obviously Batman doesn't kill. So that was his struggle there. He was struggling against the dude on the left. And he ends up getting, obviously the dude back up and shit and knocking the other 2 out or whatever. But yeah, that's probably a situation he would, like you would never think of Batman struggling in a situation like that. I even go, no. But yeah, but an early, inexperienced Batman, something like that might happen. You know what I'm saying? It's something like that happened. And Bruce, oh my gosh, Bruce fucking Wayne, bro. I cannot read this I can't read his fucking handwriting, bro. Yo, fuck. This is my thoughts on you, Bruce, for that shit, bro. I cannot read. I can't. I put one of the things on. It took me a hot minute to figure out that shit said relentless, bro. That cursive shit, I hated it. Cause sometimes I had to stop and try to figure out what a word was, bro. I don't know. It's probably sad to some of y'all that I had to, but shit, fuck, don't do that cursive shit ever again. Please, just don't do it. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, bro. I think there was like a word or two at times where like early on, where I just said fuck this shit. And I just read past it. The cursive shit was fucking me up, bro. It really was. But yeah, the trap the police set him into, the building, it was supposed to be an abandoned building, but some dude died and they kept finding other people too, so doesn't really look to be what they thought it was, or not as abandoned as they initially thought it was. But either way, they're closing in on Batman. Batman had to get rid of his belt because it caught fire. So, you know how everyone talks about Batman contingencies, that hopefully he learned from that. But apparently Batman keeps weapons in his cape and boots, so yeah. I mean, it didn't appear to be much. He had some darts. What else did he have? I don't remember what else he had, but I know he had some darts. And he got shot in the leg too, I believe. And then he ended up hiding from the cops. I think he knocked 2 of them out or something. Either way, they ended up finding him. And not fighting. He ended up walking. The cops ended up walking down the stairs, right? And one of them was talking mad shit to the cat. And Batman punched the dude because the dude was gonna shoot the cat. So Batman punched him through a wall and then was able to escape. After that, we see Bruce Wayne skiing, and essentially he's just sitting here saying he needs help. He needs Jim Gordon, and that leads back to Jim Gordon stuff. And eventually, anyway, he said he needs Jim Gordon, and then he goes to a guy who has dirt on Flash as Batman. He goes to a guy who has dirt on like Flash or even the Commissioner or whatever as Batman. He beats him up. He almost gets caught sticking in, but the dude said, I'm fine, because he doesn't know what the fuck Batman's going to do to him. So then he goes to Jim Gordon and says he has dirt on Flash, which I don't think I initially knew that he had dirt on Flash. Maybe I just didn't remember, but that being said. But either way, like we see him in a coat, kind of hiding his face and stuff, but we could tell it was him saying he needed to, he wanted to do a plea and had dirt on flats, that they go to debt. And yeah, that dirt goes down on them. That's going down on the commissioner. That's when the commissioner comes in with the little cheating shit and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much the kind. And then after the whole deal and shit gets made, I'm assuming we take a little bit of a time jump. Jim Gordon is a captain now. I don't think he's quite commissioner. He might be commissioner. I don't know. But either way, ends off with him saying, "Hey, we got a villain who calls himself, or we got a guy who calls himself the Joker. I got just a guy to help." Obviously, implying that Batman and Jim Gordon are working together. Anyway, I do think it's a good comic. I think the next one is, hold on a second. The next Batman comic specifically I'm reading is The Man Who Laughs. But yeah. But as I said, I do think this was a really good comic. I think that Jim Gordon shit, if I put it like this earlier, they used this phrase quite a bit recently, I feel like, but it shows, you know, like you know the phrase "show don't tell." I think if you show this through Batman's perspective, if we go through Batman's storyline, it'll do a lot more telling than showing. You feel me? Like with this police corruption and shit like that. And I think going through Jim Gordon, like, it fully shows, like, how corrupt this shit is. You know what I'm saying? That I think that's the best way to put it. Again, I've been using that phrase quite a bit recently. But either way, yeah. Like and subscribe. I post weekly. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to post a couple times a week, but at least one video a week. Yeah, me and my friend, we got a joint channel too, so subscribe to that as well. Yeah. Like, subscribe. Peace out.